Welcome to another episode of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, the show that asks the questions that you should be asking but may not be asking, the show that brings you the information so that you can be enabled to make more informed decisions for both you and your family. Welcome once again to Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Today we have a powerhouse with us on this show. Her name is Miss Patricia Golden. Listen to that last name, Golden. Miss Patricia, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I can. My name is Patricia Golden, and I am a native of Orlando. This is home. And I graduated from Edgewater High School in 1974, and I went to the military, was there for 8 years. I was a court reporter. I left there and came home and started working for the post office. So I was a letter carrier for 12 years.
Okay.
So I combined the 12 and the 8 and retired at 20 and began to pursue my passion, which was real estate.
Okay. How long have you been in real estate?
Since 1996.
And how do you like it?
I love it. I love
That's
real estate.
wonderful. That's wonderful. We notice that nowadays a lot of people are not buying homes. I guess they're kind of discouraged. Why is that, you think?
Well, I believe a lot of people discouraged because of, one, what happened with the market. You know, a lot of people lost their homes. I'm sure a lot of their friends, their parents, some of them lost their homes. So I believe they got real discouraged and lost hope.
Yeah, unfortunately that did happen for a lot of people. You do the first-time home buyers class, correct?
Correct.
How often do you do that annually?
Well, there's a lot of different organizations out here that have those classes. Those classes are there to educate, and once you get those certificates, then those certificates allow you, once you get a lender to approve you, to get that money.
Okay.
So you have to go to the class, get the certificate. On some of the programs, not all of the programs. Some of the programs require a certificate.
Right.
And some of them just require a class.
Okay. Now you are a preferred NACA agent.
Yes.
Which means that you're not just a realtor.
Right.
You have some background behind you.
Oh, yes. I
Oh,
have a
come
background working with NACA.
Yes.
Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America, which is one of the programs that's in the Central Florida area. Matter of fact, it's all over the United States. And they have been around for about 35 years, 40 years. And I found out about them, and I began to learn what it would take for a person to take advantage of their program. So I'm a preferred realtor with them.
Okay. Our next show, I know that we've asked you to come on and talk more about NACA. So we're going to stick to the realtor side for today.
Okay.
So that our audience can have the opportunity to hear the opportunities that there are out there. Now, who can be a first-time home buyer?
Okay. Anyone that has not owned a home in the last 3 years is considered a first-time home buyer.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if you owned a home and lost it. Now, if someone gives you a home, you inherit a home, you still considered a first-time home buyer.
Okay, because you didn't purchase it.
Right.
It was given to you.
It was given to you.
Very good to know.
Yes.
Very good to know. And what kind of credit score does a person need to be to qualify for a first-time home buyer program?
Okay, those credit scores going to depend on which lender or which program you're a part of. They have programs that require you to have 580 credit score, 580 to 620, 640 credit score. There's programs that don't require you to have any credit score at all.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now, talking to you previously, you said that it's not really necessary sometimes to even have credit.
Correct.
And can you elaborate a little bit on that for our audience?
Okay. Well, there are programs out there that don't require you to go get in debt.
Makes
Okay.
sense. Hmm.
They don't require you to go get in debt to purchase a home, but they will look at what you're already paying. If you're paying rent, if you paying a daycare, anything you're paying monthly, cable bill, they will look at that, light bill, and you need to be paying that on time. But
Okay.
you don't have to go out and get in debt, get a furniture bill or a car or,
Yeah.
a credit card. You don't have to do that.
Yeah,
They
it
don't want you
makes
to get in debt.
sense. It
Yeah.
makes sense. You're getting in more debt to get in debt.
Right.
Makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Right.
And
So
that's,
what kind of credit is that called, though?
it's just no credit.
Okay.
No credit. You can have an 800 score or you can have no score. Let's look at this. You live in the same apartment place I look at, you got an 800 score. I live there. I don't have no score. Okay? I'm scared to go and buy anything, get in debt, and you pay your credit cards on time, your car payment, you got 800 score, and I have no score. But we both pay our rent on time. We both pay our light bill on time. So, therefore, we would we would start off with the same interest rate.
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
start off with the same interest rate. We don't need to have a credit score.
Okay. I've never heard of such a thing.
Yes.
Now, I like the fact that they don't require that you get yourself into credit, but they're using your credit history or your payment histories.
Right.
How long do they use your payment history for? How far back do they go?
Usually 2 years.
2 years.
Want to see 2 years of credit history.
So if I understand correctly, if the person had been making their payments, say their light bill payment, for 2 years consecutively without missing payments or without being late,
Right.
that is a form of credit or quote unquote no credit,
Right.
but
It's
a
called
form
alternative credit.
alternative credit.
Yeah,
So
alternative.
it's alternative credit for them, and they can utilize that to purchase a home.
Correct.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
All right, all right. Now, if someone have already purchased a home and they want to purchase another home, I'm asking for the sake of our audience. I've heard this plenty of times. They already own a home, but they want to purchase another home.
Oh,
Would
okay.
they qualify for the first-time home buyers program?
No,
No.
they wouldn't because they already own a home. And those programs are designed to help people that don't have a home be a homeowner.
Okay.
That second home would most likely be considered an investment home for you. You know, most people that get that second home is looking at investing. So then they want to buy this home, then buy another home, then buy another home. You can buy as many homes as your money can afford. But you can only do the first-time home buyer if you have not owned a home in the last 3 years.
3 years. 3 years.
3 years,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So for those that's been asking, no, you can't do it unless you have not owned a home for the past 3 years. Okay. There are people, couples, for instance, where the wife or the husband's credit score may not be up to par.
Okay.
For the lenders that requires a credit score, a good credit
Okay.
score. So can someone purchase a house or a couple purchase a house without the spouse's name being on the
Okay. What happens in a lot of those situations, they would use probably one or the other income.
Okay.
Okay. And what happens a lot of times, that one person income is not enough. They need that person's income. So in situations like that, then we would most likely take them to someone that don't require a credit score. Okay?
Okay.
And then you have credit, say you have debt. You have lenders, if the debt is over 2 years old, they don't require you to pay it off.
Oh, wow.
So if you got a credit score, if you have a credit card or a repo card, some things that, usually happens, as long as you can prove it's over 2 years old,
They won't count it
they
against
won't count
you.
it against. Now, they might ask you for a letter of explanation, but hey, you can just write a letter of explanation, but you do not have to pay it off.
You know what? I was always under the impression that it was 7 years. So
Okay.
it's not 7 years?
No, that's 7 years. I believe what you're talking about is debt coming off of your credit report.
Right.
Because after debt been on your credit report for 7 years, then it comes off. And a
Right.
lot of times it don't automatically come off. You have to, request that they take it off. But
Right.
it's 7 years from date of last activity. And see, a lot of times if you got a debt and it might be right at 7 years getting ready to come off, then out of the blue, somebody call you about it and harass you about it, then you end up paying something on it. You done started the cycle.
I really need you
Back
to repeat that because that is so important for us to know. If say that again, Miss
Okay,
Golden.
if say for instance, you right at 7 years and a debt collector calls you and they call you and harass you and you send some money in, then you started the cycle over again. So it's 7 years from date of last activity. So there you go, starting the activity again. So you're starting the cycle over again.
All over again.
All
when
over
you were
again.
just almost over.
You just almost finished.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
But
Oh
we
my.
don't know. We
Yeah,
don't know.
that's why don't ask, don't tell exists.
Yeah, yeah.
You know. So again, if you have something on your credit, a negative on your credit, and it's going on 7 years, and someone calls you, please do not make any payment arrangements. Heck, I don't even pick up the call when I see those creditors calling, you know? Yeah, don't do that because you're starting the process all over again. Thank you for sharing that. When someone is buying a house, how much money, give or take, would you say that they need for expenses?
Okay. When we're buying a house and we're talking about expenses, I believe you're talking about closing costs.
Not the closing costs. I'm
No.
talking about like the inspections and things of that nature.
Okay, okay. Well, when you start the process of purchasing a home, that you done got your approval, you got a letter in hand, and me as a real estate agent, I take you out and we start looking, we find a house, put a contract on it, seller accepts your offer, then you're going to have 3 days to get what you call earnest money into that escrow account at the title company, usually $1,000. This money is money that the seller is requiring you to put down on the contract because they're taking their house off the market. So this $1,000 is there, and if you as a buyer change your mind about purchasing their home, then most likely you're going to want to cancel the contract, but that seller has to agree to that money coming back to you. And 9 times out of 10, if you just pull it away, the seller is not going to agree to you getting that $1,000 back. Because they say, hey, I could have sold this. I accepted your offer. I accepted your offer that you was going to buy this home, and now I'm ending up with a mortgage that I thought I was rid of.
So once that agreement is signed between the seller and the buyer, how long does the buyer have before they can decide, well, I no longer want this home without being penalized?
Okay. Once you put the $1,000 down, you are making arrangements for a home inspection. And that home inspection and termite inspection is going to be anywhere from $400 to $500. So you want to use a professional home inspector. That home inspector comes and inspects that home from top to bottom, roof, electrical, plumbing, and you have an inspection period that's agreed upon by the contract. Usually it's up to 10 days. Sometimes the seller might request that it be only 5 days, only 3 days, and it's up to you to accept it.
Okay.
Okay, whether you want to accept that 3 day, 5 day, but that inspection is done, and then once the inspection is done, then the home inspector sends you in writing that report. And then once that report is done, then as a real estate agent, buyer's agent, then we go over the report. And at
Okay.
that time, if you don't like what you see, and you and the seller can't come to agreement, then at that time you can back out.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's very good to know.
Mm-hmm.
That's very good to know. Now, I've hosted the first-time home buyers class in the past, and unfortunately, some of the people that attended the class, listen to this, they've gotten the certificate, and they still didn't get the down payment assistance. And it's only because they went to the wrong, either the wrong realtor or the wrong lender. What do you have to say about that?
As a real estate agent and being out here specializing with the first-time home buyer, my recommendation would be to first go to the lender. Make sure that you are qualified, because getting that certificate doesn't mean that you're going to get down payment. So my recommendation is to get a lender to approve you first, and it has to be a lender that works with the program that you're going to get your money from, because every lender don't have that money.
Okay.
So you can go to a lender and get approved, but if that lender is not signed up with any kind of down payment program, you're not going to get any down payment money. You have to bring your own money to the table. So a lot of people come to me and they got a friend that, works for a mortgage company and got them approved. Well, you can't base it on friendship. You need to be with a lender that has that money.
Otherwise, it was a waste of time
It was a waste
to
of
even
time.
take the class, huh?
Right. It was a waste of
So
time.
that's what's been happening.
So you doing it backwards. So you get a lender, get yourself approved, and it needs to be a realtor, a lender that's signed up with some kind of program that's giving down payment assistance or giving closing cost assistance.
Okay. So how many down payment assistance programs are there?
A lot of programs. Let me explain. That money comes from the government, which is your taxes. That money comes from the government. Say, for instance, you take your nonprofit and you decide you want to put a class together for first-time home buyers based on the criteria that is required to get that money, and you submit it, you could get money. And they're going to look and see if you meet the criteria, and of course you have to have the classes, which is mandatory because they want the buyer to be educated. So you get that money, you can be a lender.
Okay.
Well, not a lender, but you can give that down payment money.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I've heard of the SHIP
The
program.
SHIP program,
The NACA.
NACA program, and then Bank of America has a program right now. I've been listening to them advertise. So a lot of times banks give closing costs. There's a lot of different programs that pop up, but once they run out of money, they're out of money.
Okay.
Now the SHIP program can run out of money.
Okay.
Yeah, once they run out of money, then they got to wait till the next year.
Okay.
That contract, once you put a contract on that property and you submit that contract, then that's what holds your money.
Okay.
But once that money runs out, it's out.
It's out.
There's nothing you can do.
Even if you take the class.
Even if you take the class.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. The only thing will hold your money is that contract.
Okay.
And a lot of people is taking the class for nothing. It's like putting a cart before the horse. It's backwards.
Right.
So you might not qualify
Right.
for first-time home buyer money. You might not qualify for the SHIP program. Your credit score might not be where it needs to be. You might not have the line of credit that is required for a particular program you're going through.
So would you recommend then in this case that someone sees a lender, get qualified before even attending the class?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I would say one of the good things about me is that I educate my buyers. When they come to me, I educate them. I let them know what we're talking about now, what their choices are, and make sure they're going to the right person.
Okay.
You know, you might make too much money for the programs. Okay,
That's
if you
right.
if you make too much money, you're not going to get that money.
That's right.
So it's so many other things that's involved that we don't know about behind the scenes. So a lot of times you might have husband and wives that are separated, and she want to buy a house.
Okay.
Okay, so you got a lot of the programs in the state of Florida, you want to put homestead on that property. Well, homestead is for your family. And as long as you married, he's your family.
So you can't do it.
He's your family.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's
your
good to know.
family.
There's a recommendation that when buying a house, it is recommended to have a realtor. What says you on that point,
I would say yes.
and why?
I would say yes because, first of all, a realtor is supposed to be a professional. A realtor is supposed to represent you, okay? Educate you. Because we went to school, we got state license to get educated so that we can help you. I can't do your job. I'm not a nurse. I can't do nursing. You know, I'm not a lender. I can't do lending. I'm a realtor, and I'm a professional. And I take very seriously the job that I have to do to make sure I know the lenders, where you're going to get the money from, the contract, changes in the contract, make sure that I know who the good inspectors are, who the good title companies are, you know, that's going to help you.
That's all the realtor's responsibility.
I believe so.
Okay. All
Most
right.
realtors,
Well,
most realtors just want you to come to them, qualified, got a letter in hand. They take you out and find you a house, and you sign on the dotted line, seller sign on the dotted line. Y'all go to the closing table, and that's it. That's what they want. But it's more to it. It's always more to it. I describe it like a woman having a baby. You know, she go through aches and pains and different situations, and ready to go, ready to drop. Get this baby out of me. It's a process, and you have to go through the process, and different things happen. So you have to be able to deal with those problems that happen.
right.
A lot of times, I know, I remember when the market fell, we had contracts. Well, no, I can use the hurricane that came through. Once the hurricane come, nobody's giving insurance, but you're right in the middle of a transaction. And say a hurricane come through, you already done had your inspection and everything. Well, guess what? It starts all over again. That lender is not going to lend money, and there's a hurricane, strong winds came through. They're going to want their house inspected over again.
Are you serious?
Yes.
So who's paying for this second inspection? No way.
Yes. It's your house. Yeah, that's just how it is. Different situations happen, and what if the house burned down while you under a contract? You know, you have to be able to know what you as a buyer, what your rights are. That realtor should know that.
Okay.
So it's so many things that we should know
Oh, as a realtor.
as a realtor.
Okay. So for someone that's buying a house, how long do they have to be or show employment for?
At least 2 years.
At least 2 years.
Yes, and what they don't want to see is you hopping from job to job. That's what they don't want to see. They want to see you stable. Now, sometimes you on a job, say 6 months, and this great job comes along, paying, you know, good money, benefits. Okay, and you go. So that lender sees where you was here and you go in there. They understand that. But you quit a job after 6 months because you got mad with the boss, and then go to another job, and then you leave because you oversleep and they fire you. No, you got to be consistent because they want to know, are they going to get their money back?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to lend you money. They need to know that they're lending their money to someone that is stable on a job, that can save money, because from month to month, you have to have that mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
So can you save the next payment? They want to see that.
They want to see that.
Mm-hmm.
And that can only be proven with a job. So what if the person does not have a job, but they do have consistent income? For instance, let's say their retirement or
Oh, yeah.
Social Security.
As long as they can see it on paper, Social Security, they see it on paper, but under the table jobs where, you're not paying taxes on it, no.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right. Now, there is a question that I'm about to ask. It's very, very important for a lot of our viewers watching.
Okay.
I have heard from another lender, and I even did a first-time homebuyers class where they did talk about it. I don't know if you also know about it, and if you do, if you can share with our audience. If someone is on Social Security and they purchase a house, their mortgage is paid for. Or if they're on the HUD program, their mortgage is paid for 15 years. Not Social Security, I take that back, on disability. If someone is on disability, their mortgage is paid for the remainder of the loan. And if they are on the HUD program, their mortgage is paid for 15 years of the loan. How accurate is that information?
Someone needs to show me that.
Okay.
Now, you can get a loan for 15 years, or you can get a loan for 30 years. But the disability income is what qualifies you. That's your income. That's all it is, your income. How much it is going to determine how much house you're going to get. And most of the people that's on disability, they don't really make enough to purchase a home.
Oh.
Most of them. Most of the people I know on disability is getting $700 a month. That's it.
And so they wouldn't qualify for
It
the
wouldn't,
first
not for
time?
$700 a month. That right there is just the light. That's the light. That $700 a month is going to pay your light bill, food, water bill, gas for your car. It's not enough to pay a mortgage.
Okay. I am sorry that you guys just heard that, but that's reality.
Yeah.
And we don't want you wasting your time over something that's not real. Thank you for sharing that. In the event that someone has gone through the class, they've gotten they've seen someone that tells them how much they pre-qualified for. They've gone through the class. They've looked for their homes and everything. And when it comes down to it, they say, you know what? I changed my mind. Can they hold that certificate or reuse that certificate later on for the first-time homebuyers program?
Well, the certificate is, most of them is good for at least a year.
So what happens after the year?
After the year, they would have to take the class over again.
Okay, I'll use the same scenario. They were pre-approved, but in the process, they went and purchased this, that, and the other, and they're now disapproved upon closing. When it's time to do the closing, they no longer qualify.
Right.
So what happens, what would you say for...
Well, what happened is they had a change in their income. When you're purchasing a home, you have to make up your mind that you're not going to go and purchase anything. You're not going to do no major changes, because when that lender looks at your credit and that lender sees what's there, that lender sees what your income is, that's what they're seeing. So don't go and do anything major. Now, what they do is just before you get ready to close, maybe a day before you close, they will pull your credit again. And if they see where you had an inquiry about something, most likely they're not going to give you that loan.
Okay.
They're going to stop it.
Okay.
They're going to want to know, did you buy that car? Or is it a furniture or a credit card? Did you get that? Because that means that you got another debt. And it's going to affect your debt to income ratio.
Exactly. So for those that have filed for bankruptcy, what are their chances of being a first-time home buyer?
Believe it or not, very, very good. As long as they go to the right program. Some lenders say 3 years. Some lenders say 2 years. And one thing about filing the bankruptcy, they know that you don't have no debt. You don't wiped it out. With the bankruptcy, so you're starting all over
All
again.
over again.
And fresh.
Is there a difference between no credit and negative credit?
Um, it depends on. I mean, you could say negative credit. You got a lender, and they could say this negative credit. That's because they're not going to lend you any money based on their criteria. Okay, but then you can have another lender that's looking at your credit report, and only thing they want to know is it over 2 years old.
Okay, I see.
So it's different lenders for different credit.
Okay. There's something that is popping out there right now. And I've had some of my clients come in and inquire, and I don't have the answer. So today on Don't Ask, Don't Tell, we're going to offer them this answer. The rent-to-own program. Do you have any knowledge on that?
Yes.
How does that work?
Okay. If you own a home, and you decide that you want to sell it, and say you're not able to sell it, but you got someone want to rent it, and then maybe buy later. Okay, you set your criteria. It's your home. So you say, well, I'll let you buy it at a later date, and I want, say, $3,000 as a deposit for me taking it off the market, and you hold that $3,000, and you say, I use the $3,000 to go toward your closing costs once you get yourself qualified. And this is what I'm going to sell the house for, this amount of money at the end of 2 years. So whatever arrangements you as a seller makes with that renter, and it's best that whatever arrangements you make, you get it in writing.
Of course.
You make sure you get it in writing. Now, there's one program that I work with that is going on over the United States that's very, very good. It requires 50,000 income. You have to earn at least 50,000 in income. And then you can...
Excuse me, is that annually or?
Annually.
Okay.
Annually, 50,000. If you can prove that. And no evictions and no federal record. You would pay a $75 application fee, and if you got at least 560 credit score, that's their requirement. And if you qualify, they're going to let you know how much house your income would allow you to buy, and they will allow me as a real estate agent to take you out. You find the house that you want, and as long as it meets their criteria, then they will purchase that house cash for you, and they will allow you to live in it for up to 5 years. When you get ready to buy it, get yourself qualified, whether it's a year, 2 years, you can buy it.
Okay.
If you decide not to buy it, you don't have to buy it.
Okay.
If you get qualified and you say, well, I'm going to go buy another house, you can do that.
Okay. That's wonderful.
Very good program.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, very good program.
Definitely. We're going to wrap, but just before we do, you have an event coming up on the 12th of November, I believe?
Yes.
Do you mind sharing that with our audience?
Yes. I'm going to have a question and answer gathering for those that want to be homeowners. Those of you that have went through the down payment program, those of you who have went through the NACA program, and you were not successful, something happened, we want you to become a homeowner. And there is a program for you. There's a reason why you didn't qualify. Something happened, and we want to talk about that. So on November the 12th, from 7 to 9 at Mount Sinai, Seventh-day Adventist Church, 2600 Owen Center Boulevard in Orlando, 32805. We're going to come together, and we're going to talk. That's all we're going to do. We're going to ask questions, and we're going to let you know that you can become a homeowner. If you're paying rent, that can be a mortgage. There's no reason why you cannot be a homeowner.
Thank you, and thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it for yourself. Ms. Golden will be there at Mount Sinai, on the 12th of November. If you've gone through the NACA program, for whatever reason that you were not qualified, she will help you to understand why. And there is hope out there. There are programs out there that you do qualify for, so that you can become a homeowner. I'm so glad you came to our show, Ms. Golden.
I'm glad you invited me.
Yes, indeed. I can't wait to have you again. Ms. Golden will be with us next week on the NACA subject. Ms. Golden, thank you once again.
Thank you.
Yes. And until next time on Don't Ask, Don't Tell, take care.